Welcome, and I'm going to keep on expanding this video we shot this morning. I've got about an hour or so here to spend with you, man, not even an hour. But let's go ahead and continue to go down these because all your cases are very intriguing to me, and I apologize. Some of these long ones are very long, and I can only give so much in that way, so I apologize to you ahead of time with this. So just remember that. I can, as a gift, I can only give short, quick, here, do this, do that, do that. More ice to go over. This is from Sophie. Hi, sweetheart. Thanks for being a fan. I am 26 years old. I'm French. She's an artist. I love artists. The creative thing, you know. I would like to expose my many health problems in I'm very sick since 3 years now. After I eat a yogurt in summer holidays in Algeria. Don't eat yogurt, especially in the heat. Oh, but what's wrong with fermented foods? You know, I mean, come on. I had so much pain, and I feel so bad. The doctor tells me that I make a food intoxication, maybe, but I had no fever. So I had food poisoning, maybe, and I make a vaccine, DTP polio. After my comeback in France, after a few days after this vaccine, I have so pains in the bladder and in my kidneys like a simple urinary infection, but I make urine tests and I have an infection. After a few months, I discovered that I have like cystitis, interstitial. Interstitial. Have we heard that word somewhere before, you guys? Interstitial. Yeah, around the cells. I wonder what's going on with her. If she's got inflammation / acidosis in the bladder wall, what's going on? What ain't moving? The lymph system. Absolutely. You know, and this yogurt just adds to the lymph stagnation because yogurt's very mucus forming. Anything that's mucus forming, the body's going, no, no. And the bigger the mucus forming, the bigger the no. And guess what? Dairy products sit on the top of the nose. So you really got to get on the kidney formulas, get on Parasite-M, get on the adrenal formula, move your lymph, get in the bowels, clean up the bowels, get on the lymph, you know. Again, when I'm talking about this, you understand we have standard protocols that I've designed. I tell you, it just makes it so much easier, so much better on these standard protocols. Sometimes we augment them a little bit, but after biopsy tissue of my bladder. Now look at this. Here the medical doctors went in. Let's just take a peek. This is what almost fries my bacon, and the more you guys get into this, you'll get the same way I do. Your hair will be gray, but not from food, from this crap out there. Let's just take we think it's interstitial cystitis in the bladder, but let's just take a piece of your bladder to be sure. Why would we even need to put anybody through that kind of harm and stress and damage to the bladder wall when we already know it is? What else is it? You know, things don't fly in from moose jaw. I think this is the problem. Diseases, they believed in their own bullcrap. I began medication for my bladder called Elmeron, but I feel so bad and I stopped. After 1 year, my mother tell me that maybe I have gluten intolerance. Sounds like your mom's pretty smart. Thought you had celiac disease and dairy products. Hello. Let me see, going on down through here. I hope that I haven't MS or other autoimmune diseases. Throw the thing autoimmune there, sweetheart, out. Sophie, there's no such thing. It's not an autoimmune problem. This is all about the cells, whether they're functioning or not functioning, whether they're being damaged, suppressed in their actions. And guess what system does 90% of this? 98% of this. The lymph system, not the blood system. So you have to turn this around and go out. You're fatigued. This is that you got pain in your liver. All this different pain tells me, sweetheart, that your lymph system's backed all over and you just have inflammation, their word, acidosis, our word, head to toe. Well, we know when the lymph backs up, it's a systemic problem, right? Because lymph is head to toe. So, sweetheart, you really just got to detoxify yourself. Learn what we're all talking about here and detoxify yourself. and you'll clean all these acids out, all these things, all these pains will go away, the bladder will get healthy again. DHEA, adrenals works a lot, but my cortisol is good. It's what the blood tests show, but that doesn't mean anything. Is high, and my white blood cells are always a little bit more high than normal. Okay, don't fall into this craziness. As we had another lady call me on the weekend, and her daughter, 27 years old, well, this goes back several years, but had elevated white blood cells. Now, elevated white blood cells. Now, the lymphocytes, your white blood cells is part of your immune system, right? They're part of your immune system. Your immune system has all facets to it, from macrophages that terminate cells to all types of issues done by immune cells. Study your white blood cells, study your basophils, neutrophils. You just got a bunch of immune cells. Just see what they do for you. The fact that you have more, when you have too many white blood cells, they call that leukemia, which is crap. Elevated white blood cells mean your body's very acidic, and you're damaging cells. And that's not good. You have too much protein. You're on too much protein. You have too much protein in your body. I hope you've turned this around by now. But anyway, this lady had elevated white blood cells. 100,000. They should be around 8. 6, 7, 8 would be good. But she had 100,000. Yeah, easy to get it down. Easy to get it down when you clean what? Your lymph system, right? But they see that as leukemia, and they hit her with 1 year of hard chemo. Well, of course, that even just took her body down further, and then she started getting lumps in the breast, and of course, her axillary lymph nodes swelling up real big, so they were destroying her kidneys, basically. And then they did stem cell. Why would you do a stem cell when you have elevated white blood cells? There's no way the problem's in your bone marrow. When would the problem be in your bone marrow? When you see the opposite. Low white blood cells, low platelets. There you're going to suspect bone marrow for sure, not elevated white blood cells. So they put this poor girl through the ringer, and right now she's hanging on to life. They finally released her and said, well, there's nothing else we can do, meaning we've destroyed your body enough. Now you're near death. We've done our job. That's what that means to me. So now, I don't know what they're going to do. She's in deep doo-doo. You be careful how you treat yourself, and you remember there's no such thing as diseases. That's all an illusion, and all this crap. Look at where we are in the world of treatment and the concept of diseases. We're so much worse off today than man's ever been. Our healthcare system, I don't even want to use that word, but this allopathic, those that are in love with allopathy, I apologize. You probably need to stay with them until you realize what you're really talking about. All right, sweetheart, let's see. Now, you get on your lymph, you get your adrenals up and all this. Let me see here. Severe fatigue. You got really low adrenals and kidneys. Get those fixed and start moving your lymph system, sweetheart. Now, let me run through this. I don't know if I understand your language here enough. Sometimes I can see if this is any blood. There's some mineral analysis in here, but in French, and I can't read French. Yeah, these are all her metals and stuff like that. You know, the high aluminum, high arsenic, high cadmium, high mercury, high nickel. Gee, Merry Christmas, you got a lot of toxic elements, sweetheart. I would definitely detox myself. That's all you got to do, sweetheart, is detoxify your lymph system and get your adrenals picked up so you have more energy. You could use brain and nerve added to your protocol, but remember the protocols I've been giving. And these are just good protocols. I give a protocol that if you have advanced cancer, that's a health program you'd want to go on. And if you get, that's why I'm always aggressive. Now, some people can't handle aggressive, and that's okay. Don't feel bad if you have to step back. But we have too many hurting people to just kind of play games. Time we roll up our sleeves and get very serious with our health care and what's going on. Now this is from Aaron. Well, Dr. Morris, thank you for the videos. Thank you, Aaron, for participating. Really do. I'm really proud of every one of you guys for learning and growing. And I know some of this is going to pull some of this propaganda you have stored in here, some of these false concepts you have, it's going to pull on them. And I'm going to pull things out of you that you're just going to, sometimes you're going to say, this guy's nuts. In the long run, you'll find that we are just telling you the truth, and it's all going to come back full circle for you. We have no modus operandi. We have no motive for not being totally healers. I have none. We are a good team working this planet. Oh, thank you so much, Aaron. I'm currently in the United Arab Emirates and have been searching for the best water I can find here in the UAE as I am starting the Master Cleanse. Cool beans. The best water I have found thus far is water that is bottled at the source of ancient limestone. Ooh, that should be alkaline. It has a pH of 7.2. Good pH, and the following is magnesium, calcium 5, magnesium 1, sodium 13, a little high in sodium there. But you got the chloride and the bicarbonates. With the water qualified that I have found suffice for them. I think definitely. Also, I have been raw for 2.5 years and have been found a frugivore for the past 4 months. Eating, look at that, he has been raw for 2.5 years. And the past 4 months, he's been frugivore, eating primarily watermelon. I just had a bunch of watermelon for lunch. How disappointing. My mind said it tasted okay. Oh, it was okay. God, I want some good watermelon. With lemons, grapes, oranges, cherries, and mangoes. It does not seem like I am moving much lymph, though. Can I expect to move a lot of lymph of this? Yeah, I mean, just keep in mind, years of lymph stagnation, acidosis yields a lot of thickened and heavy lymph. So it's a trip. Don't freak out. Don't get impatient. Hang in there and keep going. That's why I'm into the herbs. Kick up, gets hit. Whatever you can afford, but hit the kidneys, hit the adrenals. Hit those two. Kidneys, adrenals, GI tract, and lymph. 4 basic areas to really hit. If you can afford further, definitely get into the endos. You want to get into the endocrine glands. Of course, the adrenals is part of the endocrine glands. But just start elevating, cleaning, and enhancing. Cleaning and enhancing. Not stimulating, enhancing. In other words, rebuilding. Cleaning, rebuild. And it's naturally going to happen, but you're going to make it happen faster because these herbs go in and shake up the tree. Yes, and you can expect a lot of cleansing with lemons. You're at the top of the mountain with lemons. I thought I would have gotten some sort of detox set the front. Well, I don't know. Maybe, and maybe you got a lot of sulfur. Maybe it's holding, but you will. You just keep going, keep going. Sometimes I've seen people detox themselves, and they don't seem to have a symptom. They don't seem to have a symptom. They don't seem to have a symptom, and then pretty soon, wham! They having them all. Poor Dan this morning, I talked to him. He's got all kinds of bizarre. Hair turned white on the corners. Varicose vein popped out. I mean, this guy had all kinds of symptoms. Bad symptoms. I brought this laxative tea to use with the cleanse, but I'm not familiar with the herbs that... I wanted your input on what you think about it before taking it, since you are the herb master. Not necessarily the herb master. I appreciate the thought on that. But I have been around him and taught him for a lot of years. But I could learn a lot more about the Latin names and things like that. I mean, I'm an old farm boy here. Each tea bag is 100 milligrams, consisting of 15 grams of cortex. So this is not just herbs, right? Or maybe it is. I don't know what these are either. You got chamomile. You got a fruit. You got senna in there. Well, senna's okay. No, senna can be very laxative there. You want a little Cascara sagrada, but you got coriander here. Come on in. This is all of the foreign language. It's foreign to me, too. It looks like you have some senna, which is very laxative and addicting. The tea is made in Austria and is called Planta-Lax tea. Well, I'll just say this. I think it's a little laxative. I don't know. You have to see. They got the chamomile kind of nice. Coriander. They should have used Cascara Sagrada instead of Senna. But, you know, see how it does. If it's too much, too strong, don't take it because it gets too addicting and can be problematic. If not, get a stomach and bowel like number 2 or number 3. More gentle, cleansing while you're doing it. When you're taking herbs, make sure that formula will do you a lot of different things and you're getting more bang for the buck. You know, so just get familiar with herbs. I've always said, take 10 herbs, study them. You know, look at what the herbs that's in our formulas and research them and see why I put them in there. And take 10 of them and study them real good and just get used to the names and stuff, and then take 10 more. Of course, every country has different herbs, but sometimes country uses a Latin name and sometimes the common name, and common names can be quite different. When you read my iris, this is from vertical sleep. Damn, vertical sleep. Now, you must be living in the now, totally, to have vertical sleep. When you read my iris, you said, I have good genes, but how long will it take to get my totally brown eyes with chronic lymph to turn back into perfect blue eyes? Oh, jeez. Well, I haven't seen it in people done it in 2 or 3 years of fruit. I mean, we see major iris changes, no question. But to take a brown eye and turn it blue, we've seen a lot of brown come out of blue in 6 months. I suppose a couple of years easy to see a major dent. I would say within 6 months your blue should be shining through. A year, a lot more. At least by 6 months to a year, you should know you have blue eyes. I mean, really know it. But, you know, it can take you a while. When you're talking about chronic lymph, don't get frustrated. Chronic lymph is chronic lymph. Even subacute lymph is difficult, and this is a subacute lymph. I forgot to go over this eye. This is DIANEXO. I'm going to be struggling to read your eyes, my friend, but I'll do that for you. But you see how that's greenish looking? That's because of the lymph. It's really yellow in there, but it's not yellow sulfur. Now, the problem with reading eyes like this is that I'm going to do my very best, considering that depends on the camera, the colorations, the armature settings, the light settings, in other words. There's a lot of things. So the closer the better, because sometimes these lacunas look deeper further apart. They don't look as deep as close. A lot of cofactors. So I'm going to do my best, but I want you all to keep that in mind, that I could be wrong because I'm reading off of these pictures. Good though, I'll tell you, the better than some we get from ophthalmologists. So I don't know, vertical sleep. I love your name. I do. I think that's funny. So that reminded me of me most of my life. I'll be sitting in a chair out of body. You up? You'll find me at 3 in the morning. I'll be vertical sleeping. Can you make a video about caffeine or quitting caffeine and how to recover from the stresses it causes? Yeah, but I don't have to spend a whole video on caffeine. Definitely a really powerful stimulant. So again, this is why I like the herbs, because you can use the brain and nerve formula too to pop up on that. And then you can use a progesterone, a yucca formula. And then there's the, it never comes to my mind. The Japanese gave it to us. And it's a vine, grows all over the place. But we use it for withdrawal symptoms and stuff like that. And it's just not coming to my mind right now. But that's what detox is all about. Takes all the residues and things from all these factors, whether it's plants, alkaloids, or caffeine or whatever, and it just cleans the body out of them. Whatever drugs you've been on in your life, it just cleans all the residues, the chemicals out of the body. That's what detoxification is. It's cleaning the body out. That would be your best way to do that. Use the brain and nerve number 2 for the nerves, because you've stimulated them quite a bit, then they're just going to crash. I'll tell you, I would support the adrenals with a raw glandular or with the adrenal tinctures, because that's what you've overstimulated is your adrenal glands. That's gets hit the most with that. So you might want to do that. Yeah, Thanks. This is from FRN. This is from our friend FRNKNSNS. I love your teaching. One question. Why do we have insulin at all if we don't need it to digest fruit? You say herbs survive the high heat required to prepare them, but cooked food is dead. What exactly is the harm caused by legumes? There's about 3 questions in that one. Well, it's the same thing with hydrochloric acid. Why do we need hydrochloric acid for? That'd be a crazy one. You know, if we didn't have hydrochloric acid, eating a piece of meat would be quite interesting. You know, we'd have a nut right here probably for quite a while. You know, be pretty putrefactive, that's for sure. All I can tell you is, you know, a little, we're a species that doesn't need a lot of insulin and not a little of everything. We just don't need all these pounds of nutrition, because it isn't just about nutrition. We're lost in that because we wouldn't want to look beyond that sort of syndrome. It's not just about nutrition. Look at the animals. They don't really get a lot of nutrition. I mean, I will agree that herbivores sit there chewing down most all day long, but it does give you some clue that grasses isn't necessarily the healthiest when you have to eat all day to, you know, but big horses, big cows, you know, stuff like that. So I agree, pound for pound. But with that said, you know, there's always going to, man's going to always have glucose. Somewhere or another, you're always going to get glucose. And so, yeah, I can see why insulin is needed to some extent, you know. But we don't, you see, we have a lot of blood sugar problems. But, again, we have insulin, but do we have enough insulin to handle starch? No. Exactly. That's why there's so much fungus. You can't metabolize starch. No animal can. That's why people fatten up on it. That's why animals fatten up. We can't, even with our little bit of insulin, we cannot handle starch, and there's a good proof of it right there. If you had tons of insulin, well, you could handle all levels of sugar, but you don't. And it's just you're only driving so much anyway, you know. There's only 100 trillion cells. Now, you say herbs survive the high heat required to prepare them. Did I say that? Have I ever said herbs survive high heat required to prepare them? I've never said that. I don't know where you guys come up with these things. Like this one lady this morning said, I said that something about, what was that? Something about vegetables have high glucose levels and that you get too much glucose. And think, what? I love people that don't see the things that's really being said. Here you go. You say herbs survive high heat. I don't heat no herbs. I mean, the only way you see that is in your teas. And when you're boiling teas, you want to remember that you don't boil the leaves and flowers. You just need to simmer them. And then the roots is what you boil, because you're boiling something really hard, and you want to break it down and get the goodies out. The only time you would heat anything is the teas. And you know what's fantastic to me is when you heat a tea, when you boil even a tea, it has incredible power to it. Isn't that cool? But when you cook a food, it's dead. You know, amazing. That's a God thing. That's the only thing I can tell you. But I don't, I'm for raw. I'm even for raw herbs. All these herbs you guys are getting are all raw. Some are dried, some shade dried. When we dry, we shade dry, and then we powder. I have some fresh herbs, which is parsley and cilantro, things that we can readily get year round. But I can't put fresh herbs in formulas so you can't get them in the mid of winter, and you want them now. You just can't do it that way. Not in a clinical setting and not in a worldwide approach like that. Can't do that. And what is the harm caused by legumes? Well, enzyme inhibitors, big-time enzyme inhibitors. And enzyme inhibitors, they're bitching enough that they're not getting enough enzymes, and yet you have these dormant foods which have enzyme inhibitors. High phytic acid goes along with enzyme inhibitors, which is a major calcium depleter. You have, again, all this packed nutrition that's on one side, and you need to sprout it to give life to it. It's just sitting there in its very packed state. Open it up, give it life to it, sprout it, and then eat it, and then you'll have something good for you. But very concentrated foods are very hard to digest and over-acidify the body. The fact that most legumes are acidic also plays to that role. The same thing with grains. Very acidic, even though they, you know, they tend to be more alkaline in certain ways. They still are more acidic than, I'll say they're more alkaline than beef and meat. But Why does people still want to eat dead foods like beans and stuff? These are dried things that have no flavor. Yeah. What do you have to do to put flavor to beans?
Spice them.
Spice them. Get you a ham hock or something, you know. Kill an animal and put him in there. You know, this is the thing. Is you keep people asking me about dead food, but I don't care if you eat them. You understand? See, I don't care. This is about detoxification. Far be it for me to tell you what to eat in your life, you know, but I can tell you what it takes to detoxify, and then you decide how you want to live your life, because there's so many factors coming to play here, like mates. Are they raw? What's your busy schedule like? Are you working longer hours than you need? You know, just so many cofactors to what your life is going to be. Where's your spirituality? We have people that get, we just talked to Dan this morning. He's way out there he's so far out there on fruit right now that eating vegetables causes him all kinds of problems. Remember that? And that's just where you're going to get. When you go way out there to the fruitarian lifestyle, you try to enter the herbivore lifestyle, the vegetarian lifestyle. It's not easy because your body's used to that higher frequency, that higher chemistry, that higher magnetic food. And it's hard to step down because you want more. You know, your body wants the God force. So it's just hard. Frequency, vibration, all of that plays a role. So these are things you learn when you go there. You guys first beat me up real hard when I first started on that sort of thing, but a lot of you are walking in those higher levels now going, wow, it's nice up here, I like it. But I can't go down very easy. I have all kinds of symptoms when I go down. Well, when I came down off of fruitarianism, my body hurt me. It hurt me so bad it wasn't even funny. I had to come down. I was way out of balance. I was like that, why isn't everybody raw? I'm raw, you can do raw. You can't cook and kill. It's kind of like the consciousness behind this, FNK, kind of your drive behind us, kind of the drive I had about that. And it's like, relax, relax, relax. High testosterone. This is Tinkzor, Zorro. Huh. All right, this is a 29-year-old. I'm a female of 29 and have been feeling really ill. Look at all these young people that feel bad. Man, when I was in my 20s, I could have bulldozed over a house, especially on raw, being a farm boy and all the work that's involved. And then you shift into a raw diet. I was ready to eat up the world. I had more energy. And look, here's 29, just really, and I'm 20s, and it's just sad stuff. I feel really sorry for you guys having to put up with these bodies. It's all us on the planet. We've been wallowing in ignorance and propaganda and stuff. It's time to wake up, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Let me see. I'm really struggling to keep working because I feel so tired and weak. Yeah, that's sad, and that's what I see a lot too. A lot of the young people are struggling because they just have no energy. I asked my doctor to test my hormones, and they came back high testosterone. Well, that wouldn't make you tired. Let me tell you, testosterone is one of those. Okay, that's an acid, and acids have this. Let's go. You know, and that wouldn't. But you could have low estrogen, but still, you would be looking for neurotransmitters, because this isn't a hormone or steroid fatigue. This is a neurological fatigue. Outside of a neurological fatigue, you'd be dealing with ATP problems. That would be a lot more serious. That's cell energy. You know, carbon and oxygen unite at the cell. Throw the hydrogen out. Remember, hydrogen is that little thumb that sticks up, acid thumb that sticks up everywhere in chemistry. Hydrogen is in every compound there is. At least pretty much. And then that's what tries to get yanked out, because that's where your pH, potential for hydrogen. That's what creates your pH factors, is hydrogen and your electrons. And now awaiting a scan. Let's see here now. I'm now awaiting a scan to check my ovaries. Doc thinks I have polycystic ovaries. Why would you check your ovaries for testosterone? As far as I know, ovaries doesn't produce testosterone. Maybe. I think I forgot my endocrinology. Let me see. I have cysts. If you have cysts on your ovaries, what's the problem? What caused cysts on ovaries? Is that a blood problem? Is that a hormone problem? Or what are we talking about? What is a cyst? Would a hormone be involved in a cyst? That's a pocket of fluid. I don't think so. Check your lymph system again. Check your kidneys. And why are you so tired, sweetheart? That's your adrenals. Matter of fact, when you start cleaning up the kidneys, don't be surprised if you have extreme low blood pressure. And this is a case where raw organic glandulars could help her big time. Big time. Now, I came across the Life Regenerator and then your site, and I'm convinced I need a massive detox. Go, girl! But the herbalist I have been seeing says my insulin levels are shot and I should eat no more than 2 pieces of fruit a day. I love this guy. Now listen to this. I love these people. Where do they come from? Where do they come from? Here's an herbalist I have been seeing says my insulin levels are shot. That's kind of a cranky way to say it. Imagine a medical doctor saying, well, your insulin levels were shot and you're screwed. I mean, I don't think so. Pardon my French. You guys get me carried away. All right, so this herbalist says that her insulin levels are shot and she should have no more than 2 pieces of fruit, which is not insulin dependent at all, a day, and that fasting my body is wrong, that I need the nourishment and I should be eating protein every 3 hours. Bad herbalist. Bad herbalist. And he should stay with, or she, to just herbology. And she probably doesn't know how herbs really work. No offense, but sounds like that's what's going on here. I respect this woman, so it is a woman. She was my remedial massage teacher. Well, she doesn't know enough, honey, because what she's saying here is not health at all. She hasn't got a clue about health. She was maybe a good massage therapist, but she has no clue about health. Just because you're a massage therapist doesn't mean squat about you know anything about health. And the same thing with nutritionists, the same thing with chiropractors, the same thing with medical doctors. What field studies chemistry, physics, and health the most? Naturopathy, thank you. That's what our whole field is about. Let me see, but I feel like I want to just get on the fruit and green juices. That's what you should do, dear one. I could really do with some advice on this. Get away from this herbalist, because this herbalist needs to go out and do the program on herself so she gets familiar with this. There's no such thing. If you're not producing enough insulin, what would you not want to eat? And you'll see that in which level of diabetes? Type 1. And what is it wouldn't be advantageous in type 1? Glucose, because glucose does require insulin. So you still get your ATP with the fruit. Of course, if you waited till the allopaths think that your liver converts a simple sugar like fructose back into another simple sugar called glucose, spending all that time, type 1s would never be able to balance their blood sugars on fructose. Right? Because it has converted to glucose. Well, they're having trouble with glucose. Does that all make sense to you? No. Not at all. And it is no sense to it at all. And we proved it over and over and over and over again. If you're having, and this also tells you what, if you're having sugar metabolism problem, this is insulin she's pointing her finger at, which I don't see how this herbalist has a clue. But in looking at this, this is sugar metabolism if you're having any problems like this, because up here's the adrenal. You're talking about how your adrenals are shot. You're talking about polycystic ovaries, meaning that your kidneys aren't filtering your lymph system. That means your adrenals are down. Your fatigue shows that. That means your testosterone is down, or any steroid is down from the adrenals, and your neurotransmitters are down. And so you would have time maybe metabolizing glucose. So I'd get up on the fruits, berries, and melons in a salad at night and do it that way, dear one. And go just what your heart's telling you. Your heart's telling you go to fruit and green juices. That's just what I'd do. And don't waste your time on salads. Give your body all the energy back to you that digestion would have taken place with the salads. Let me see here. I've ordered your detox book. Go for it, girl. Now you're winding up down the right road here. You know, there's a lot of herbalists like this out there, people out there that don't know anything about nutrition, and they tell people like this. Go protein every 3 hours. You know, pretty soon you're going to go, oh man, I need a massage therapist. That's why she said that. That way get her back in there to give her a massage, because she's going to get acidic and stiff and tight. Good. Eat meat 3 times a day and I'll get you back in as a client. I intend on going cold turkey on sugar and nicotine. You can't go cold. Now, again, when we reference sugar, I take it you're meaning industrial sugar, or you're taking complex sucrose and stuff like that. That's what I take you to mean, of course. This week, and then meat and bread next. You still eating meat and bread? Uh-oh. Yeah, don't wait. Dump it all. I mean, why wait? Stop it all, honey. Stop it all right now. Stop thinking right now. I want you all right now to stop thinking. I can stop thinking and still talk and still read, but I don't have to think. Because it doesn't mean I'm dead. I'm more aware, right? If I'm stopped thinking, I'm more aware. So that means I can actually see more in what I'm reading. Okay, you're going to get a blender and all this. Let's see, my symptoms are these. Very weak, tired all the time, adrenals, neurological weakness, trouble sleeping, pineal gland, and awakening. Probably thyroid a little bit, gained weight. Again, very much the adrenals. Could have a little thyroid soreness. Check your basal temperatures under your arm. Gain weight and in different places. Wrist hair in many places. Dark line on skin above lip and line down from navel. Dark, dry skin, spots especially under jaw, ridge nails, lots of dark, there we go. Sounds like a little parathyroid creeping in. Lots of dark mole type things appearing on abdomen. You're having sugar metabolism problems. You are weak adrenals and kidneys, sweetheart. And you could have cysts coming and going on the ovaries with that. That's obvious. But again, you're going to lead down the fibrocystic breast, fibroids in the uterus, endometriosis, atypical cells. I mean, this has no good outcome. So you have to just do what your heart's telling you here. Ridge nails, lots of dark mold, achy joints, muscles, swollen throat with white bits on and feeling like won't heal. Limp, and limp. Let me give you a word. Interstitial lymphatic constipation. You're backed up way all the way. This is an inside burn. It's an inside job here. So your lymph system, sweetheart, it's all backed up through you here. And look at this, depression. Back to the parathyroid gland. Go to your nails, parathyroid again. Now, she gives a little hint there. She has a hard time sleeping. And we're seeing an awful lot of thyroid, parathyroid, and adrenals. Is it possible that we should look at your pituitary? Absolutely. And that camera, that iris picture, is the one way we can really see this. Now, there's another way you can correlate that. How's your monthly cycles? How's your periods? If you're bleeding too much or irregular, you're hands down pituitary. Hands down. So I would work on my parathyroid here. Definitely your adrenals, kidneys, get the lymph moving, clean up the gut. Everything we're talking about is just what you need to do. From what I see, from what you're telling me here, this is exactly what I see, dear one. I'm saving for your detox kits. Well, take off there. K-A-Y-A. Kaya? Kaya? Yep. Dear one, you'll be okay. I would lose that herbalist. I think that herbalist needs to go back to school and learn a little more before she starts telling people to go protein every 3 hours. I don't know where these naturopaths come up with the protein thing. Man, I tell you, when a naturopathic school tells you to eat protein, one of the first laws of natural health is, what do you stop eating? What's the first thing in natural health that you try to stop eating? Dead animals, and especially their milks. The biggest no-nos that I know of in all of natural health is dead tissue and all the milks and dairy products. That whole lineage. That's the first thing you're known to stop. Now we're thinking eating meat is healthy again. You're going to find yourself walking down the same road man has walked down for the last many decades, and look at where he's at. I mean, look at where, this is a meat-eating society. Look at where man is. You can't take you any further than the diet. And he was having trouble with meat eating years past, decades past. Man's always had trouble trying to eat meat. This is Indan 3. Dr. Morris, my cardiologist suggests that I get a nuclear stress test. That's where I got these, doing one too many nuclear stress tests. A lot of radiation. Nuclear radiation. A little, back then we used thallium. And thallium, I asked, there was a tech in from nuclear medicine, and I asked her, I said, I used to spend time in nuclear medicine. I said, do they use thallium? She said, oh, no. See, and we put a lot of thallium in people, and it would be delivered every morning in a red box, skull and crossbones. And I had to work with that. I mean, that's just scary crap. Scary crap. I feel sorry for the pathologists, too, and histologists. All these histologists and pathologists that are staining cells, maybe they have a better way now, but the old way was extremely toxic. A lab like that is unreal toxic. I couldn't work in a lab like that. I tried. Okay, now, they're going to use, I'm very familiar with what they're going to use. Frankly, I'm scared of that. I would be, too. Well, you know, you'll light up like a Christmas tree for a few weeks. Well, you want your glow-in-the-dark thing. Get it, you know. What is your take on this dye? I don't like any of it. Of course I don't. I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to find out if you're clear. Now, if you're having chest pains or something like that, then of course you're going to have a cath, you're going to go in, or an angioplasty, or whatever you need. You're going to go in and maybe have some stents or whatever. But then I would start reversing back of why I'm getting that. Why are you getting that? What causes cholesterol plaquing or calcifications, occlusions, blockages? Acids, lymphs, going back to that system. Remember, we've had a lot of videos pointing our finger on that. If I was you, I'd turn it and just go deep into the grape world and just love grapes and really clean my coronaries out, clean everything out. Because if your coronaries are blocked, guess who else is blocked? This is just, and will it be as benign as they say it is? If you believe what medical doctors tell you, you just go right ahead. Now, there's some good medical doctors, and those that are in the natural health field, I do take my hat off at them, and this isn't about you guys at all. This is about those guys that are out there still whacked out and thinking that their chemical medications that they're doing good for human race. And there's nothing that can be further from the truth, and the stats show it. The stats show it. Stats last year, 1 million people died at the hands of allopathy and none from naturopathy. Pretty good stats. And those aren't just made up stats, those are CDC stats. Can't beat those stats. So, you see, got things a little on the wrong side. Do you believe this is really necessary, especially after he's done other tests like EKGs and echoes? You should, if he's done echocardiograms and he's done EKGs, if he's a good EKG reader, he should really be able to see anything like that. You know, of course, what they want to see is blood flow. They want to see how the blood's flowing through the coronary to see if you have any occlusions or blockages, blah, 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 blah. Problem is, toxic procedure, and then very invasive too when they're going in. What is going on here? It says he didn't find anything wrong other than a delayed heartbeat here and there. Now, was that a first-degree heart block, or was it a PVC? And I have high blood pressure with a low pulse rate of 40. I don't like low pulse rate. I'm surprised he didn't pacemaker you. You know, if you're running around with a pulse of 40, you're about to get paced by this dude. Because, you know, you got to have 60 or more not to get paced. If you run 40 all the time, he's going to want to put a pacemaker in you. And then they're putting these automatic defibrillators with them. I'll say this. I would definitely tear into a detox program, get my kidneys cleaned out and get that blood pressure down. Remember the difference between a steady high blood pressure and a swinging high blood pressure. Steady high blood pressure, kidneys, but in what you're saying here, my guess your kidneys are the problem here. The swinging blood pressure comes from the cerebellum medulla. What I'm seeing here with a 40 heart rate is probably hypothyroidism, my guess. I would perk up my adrenals and my thyroid, perk up my heart rate, get my neurotransmitters up that feeds the electrical system to the heart, the autonomic. Clean up my gut, because right here is the seat of the sympathetic. You want to clean that up. Drain the lymph so the parasympathetic and the central nervous system all is working good, and you should be good. It'll open up any occlusions. I'd go into lower circulation. I would do we have that cayenne garlic. Now, the cayenne is organic cayenne. I use organic because it's low in heat units. I don't want high heat units. I'm just using this like a niacin, you know, or an niacinamide, something gentle, something dilates. But I would do something. I have butcher's broom and other herbs in there to just keep everybody dilated and open. I would do that. At the same time, I'd be putting on my kidneys and my adrenals, get my blood pressure down to normal. Shouldn't take you long at all. Get that pulse rate up. I'd be looking at my thyroid. Also, I'm not looking forward to that other drug they inject to stress the heart while you're at rest. That's Persantine. It used to be Persantine. And that's just what I think. I don't like that either. It's a big, like a 500cc thing of Persantine. It makes your body simulate exercise when you're at rest. No way in hell. I mean, this is the kind of crap they put into people. Oh, it's okay. Well, so Cipro, right? It's okay. Yeah, right. Killed a lot of people. Now, I don't blame you, my friend. I can tell you, this is my feeling on this sign, ND and 3. This is my take, and it's simple. I'm going to have to cut this off again, but I'll say this. If this isn't a stat need means immediately. If you're in immediate need, say you're going into an MI, which is a heart attack, you're having chest pains, might want to take a look at that. You might want to go in. Problem is, I've seen a lot of strokes, and I don't know what the percentages are now, but I think when I was in the cath lab, there was about 17% chance of stroke. So there is stroking with these. That's the other negative side of these catheterizations, is stroking from that. They're just going to do a stress test on you, but the next is the catheterization. So I don't know. I'll say if you're not in any dire need and you're just having a few first-degree heart blocks or PVCs or PACs, I'd just tear into my health. I'd definitely get my blood pressure down using the natural things we talked about, lower circulation. Do the heart for me if you want, but really your main need is lymph and adrenals and thyroid, low blood heart rate, too low heart rate, too low. So save yourself from all the stuff, because they have this pacemaker in you and everything else doesn't fix the problem, does it? Nope. And putting in a stent does not fix any conclusions, does it? Nope. And you'll just keep getting, exactly, until you fix the problem. And this site's about fixing the problem. If you don't fix the cause of the problem, your journey isn't generally a lot of fun when you do allopathic. Can low stomach acid cause malabsorption of iron, anemia, along with hypertension, since food takes long to digest? Gastroparesis. Oh, hi, honey. This is KALKEIKUU. Hi, sweetie. I love the picture. No, that's not what causes malabsorption. Matter of fact, it's the opposite. Interstitial lymphatic constipation would cause malabsorption and low stomach acid. You have it reversed in the way you're looking at it. Look at it. What causes this first? And then you could see the far reachings of that. Iron anemia, you're going to go more to the adrenals there. Hypertension, again, back to the kidneys and adrenals. Unless you have the swinging, which is still lymphatics, but coming back up here in the cerebellum. But gastroparesis, that's a beast of another color. That's when either you've had high neurotoxicity, or you had too much interstitial lymphatic constipation in the gut, or too much hydrochloric acid, basically, and you burnt your nerves. I mean, you actually created paralysis. Gastroparesis is paralysis of the stomach. And we got a lot of those cases nowadays. And I've only seen 1 or 2 in my entire life. In the last 5 years, we've seen them go way up. Stomachs are in bad shape. GI tracts are in bad shape. I'm sorry, I can't get to more of you faster. I'm trying to get there. Yeah, this is Dr. Morris. Right after you said it last week, I think I may have reached a plateau with the green juice. I take it your advice would be more fruit. Melons and berries in particular. You got it. Organic Superman, go rock, son, rock. Thank you guys for being patient with us. I know I'm not getting to so many of you, and it can be frustrating. But you got the Facebook people, you got all these guys just like you. You really made some nice charts, and you get it. And once you get it, it becomes quite simple. Yes, you smarter guys out there will definitely tear it up more than I did. And that's okay. That's the way it's supposed to be. And I'm real happy about it. So I love you all, and it's just an extreme pleasure to be able to work with you and help you and to work with you. I consider a lot of us comrades and friends, and we're going to be working together healing this planet up. And it'll be fun leaving knowing that we made a little bit of a difference. So I love you. We all here love you guys. Take care of yourselves and have a fun afternoon, okay? Bye-bye.